Support for Music Money University and the following message are brought to you by TuneCore. Do you want to take your career to the next level and start making money from your music? The good news is all you need is a digital distributor. TuneCore is dedicated to helping independent artists get their music in over 150 digital stores and streaming services in over 100 countries worldwide. And the best part is, they never take a cut of the money they collect for you. No label, no catch, no barriers to selling your music worldwide. Take control of your career and get 20% off your first upload on TuneCore by clicking the link in our show notes. Welcome to Music Money University, where you learn in-depth strategies on how real artists, musicians, and entrepreneurs earn a full-time income in the music business. I am your host, Omari, and today on our show we have Matthew Curley, otherwise known as his artist name Hylynd. Hylynd, born and raised in North Carolina and currently in Houston, Texas, is a singer-songwriter and multi-instrumentalist. With his new single, Fool, Hylynd is building upon the momentum of his breakout EP, Born in the Night, which GasMaskMagazine calls an R&B Timberlake Bieber vibe with his own twist. Hylynd's influences range from pop icons like Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, and Mariah Carey to rock legends like Led Zeppelin, Queen, and U2. His music has been praised from noteworthy publications such as The Beat Forest, The Revue, Verge Campus, Good Music All Day, and many more. Hylynd, welcome to Music Money University.
Real pleasure and honor to be with you.
Awesome, man. Good to have you on. So, the way we like to start out our show is dive right into the numbers. We do that because without revenue numbers, you and I are just talking opinions. And we want to give people the results about our work and not just the opinion. So tell us how much you make each year in the music business or in your music career, the breakdown of where the revenue is coming from, whether that be merchandise, film licensing, touring, and which advertising methods have worked best for you.
Well, I'll start off by saying that, as we all know, like if you're out there, you're starting out, or if you've been in this thing for a while like me, like there's no set formula and it feels like it's changing all the time. The best thing is, just learning to be flexible and aggressive at the same time. Sometimes you can be flexible and you kind of just are like, I don't know what the system is to follow. I don't know what the formula is, so I'm not going to try that hard. That's not what I'm saying. And sometimes you can be really aggressive and single-minded and you're not aware that the system is changing. So my whole take on it is like flexibility and aggressiveness at the same time. I make upwards like $55K a year. And some of that comes from sync licensing. I just signed a publishing deal with Sonata. They're an offshoot of Soundscape, and they're out of London. Actually, I haven't even announced that yet, but I just did that last week, and that should be awesome. I've done stuff through my management with sync licensing up until this point. It's kind of been just on an individual basis. So the whole reason I got into that was actually because I love doing like mini scores. Something I've always, I love the medium of like 3.5 minute, 4 minute format songs. I love hits. I love timeless hits that can just work on any level in radio. But I also, I love going to the movies and just being like overtaken with how good the score is. So I was like, from a young, for like the last 10, 15 years, I was like, man, I really want to do that as well. That's initially what got me involved with that. So, but then since, getting songs on shows and things like that is also been really, really cool too. So that also live, like for me, if I'm not playing live, I'm not getting as many songs like the live process inspires the songs, and the song process inspires the live thing. So I'm almost like take like an old school approach, man, because I love the idea of like as an artist you still tour a lot. Like that's just a big deal for me. So so that, and then I also find ways uh like I'm a music director at a church. So I think more now than ever you have to have multiple streams of income. Uh and it's this balancing act of not being spread too thin, but also like sewing into different things, because you are in this changing music economy, um, and you want to have multiple streams happening. So hope that answers some of the questions. Streaming revenue, like that's obviously not much. This past month it was like a little less than $400, and I have like 30,000 or so. I think right now it's like 26. It fluctuates a little bit, but monthly listeners on Spotify. I think Apple Music, like Apple for Artists, is going to continue to come up, now that you can see all the analytics and see that. But yeah, man. All in all, dude, like I love seeing the numbers climb, but I I've been through long seasons where they're not there, or they dip, or where it just fluctuates. So it's great to have gone through that process, because now I just enjoy it, when things are climbing, and I don't feel this thing where it owns me, like it owns my identity, because that can just be kind of crazy. So yeah, that's my short
Cool.
long answer.
Cool, man. So you said out of all those that is it the sync licensing that is making most or the bulk of the revenue, or is it the music directing, like throughout the past year, past 2 years? Which one of those has been growing the most in your income streams?
Most, well, I'll break it down, because most in terms of the percentage of increase has actually been my streaming. Um, just in terms of, not the number itself, but how quickly it's been rising. Which again, it's nowhere near where I want it to be. But it is climbing. I'd say that the sync licensing is the next thing up, because you usually get like a lump sum, and that's been cool, because you can it's totally unexpected, and I don't bank on sync licensing income. It's not, I'm sure some artists are where they can kind of bank on a residual income of that. To me, it still fluctuates, but it's great when you have like a $2,000 check come in for your song being played on something.
Right. So with the sync licensing, so you're saying your songs just got into films, or have they been getting into other avenues like video games or TV, or you're just finding it's mostly in films?
Yeah, mostly films, and
Gotcha.
I have to be upfront about this. My cousin started working um on a bunch of movies. He's My cousin lives in London, and started working on a ton of like really great movies, some indie and some like blockbuster stuff. So it's been an in for me in that regard. Before it sounds like I have a silver platter, just know I'm thankful for that. I've had a long journey, so I'm glad that it's like been cool to have an in there. So props to him though, John Adkins. He's helped me a lot with that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with having a connection. I mean, that's
Right.
how you get a lot of stuff done in the industry, is by connecting to the right people. Like your music can be amazing, and when they hear it,
No doubt.
they'll be like, okay, yeah, this one has to be in our film. But a
Right.
good portion of the time is, you making connections, and it's just like hiring everywhere else. So and we're trying to get into people's heads, those listening, is to use the business skills they've acquired elsewhere in the music industry. There's a stigma around the music industry that marketing or business is bad, but marketing and business and connections enable you to do your music full time.
No doubt,
So,
no doubt, man.
so yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with having a connection. As long as you're not being shady with your connections, um,
Right, right.
I mean, it's fine.
Yeah,
So
no doubt, man. No doubt. I first got connected with you through email lists about just how to promote on some streaming um avenues. Uh so man, I'd love to hear a little bit about how you do it, because I mean it appears as though you're killing it.
you're asking about the connections?
Yeah, man, just your just in terms of information on how to continue to grow that.
Yeah, I'd say finding connections is when you can provide something for someone else that they either would not be able to provide for themselves. So you have a
Mm,
better mousetrap, or you can provide so much work value that they just have to have you around.
that's so
So
good, dude.
think about making their life easier. One of the things that a lot of artists do is whenever they're reaching out to like an executive A&R, label owner, promo person, whatever, is they think about themselves first. Like, yeah, you have to have
Mm,
yourself. You have to have some self-interest because, you want to further yourself too. But if you can find a way to make their life easier first, they will most likely at least give you the attention that they would not give another artist. Like,
mm,
there's people who just spam their song link everywhere, right? Like they just, even in, random comment sections, or whether they're DMing you on SoundCloud or Instagram, whatever. Like, that's not how you get things done. How you get things
right.
done is figuring out, okay, what does this guy like? What can I look at on their website that could possibly like help them get better? Or like, if I mention something in an email or an Instagram post or something, and in the artist's head, they're thinking, okay, I know of a way that can make their business better. Let me just help them out for free. And then maybe next month they find another thing. They're like, okay, let me help them out for free again. And as that continues, like you get on somebody's radar. So you're just like,
Right.
I've seen this guy's name like 3 times. They helped me out, or they did something, or they were just really cool on social media. They kept commenting on
Mm,
stuff. They kept like being genuinely interested in our products. Like, their name's on our radar. So that's what I've seen work. For me, probably, since I'm like an analytical guy, it's been making other people's lives easier through like technology and systems. So if I can make somebody else in the industry, if I can make their life easier through some thought process, then that's what's helped me the most. But
that's so good, dude.
all of those can work.
That's really good. That's really, really good.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I've been thinking more and more along that lines of, um, okay, how do I add value to somebody else's life? And what's weird about that is that you're right. There's a tension there, because if you're not doing something that is connected to who you are, then it's not going to have the that seed of vulnerability and transparency that actually is used to connect to somebody. It's like more of the focus now of, okay, how do I be who I am and also connect better and add value to other people's lives, by what I do.
yep, yep, that is it. So, and you can try out different things too. So if
Right.
one doesn't work for you, maybe try the next one and try it with multiple people at a time. You can set